Hi everyone and Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023. Along with welcoming in the new year, we're also welcoming in a new catalogue from Close to My Heart that will go through January, February and March. It's chocker with some new products that will help us with our card making, scrapbooking and paper craft. It covers Valentine's Day, birthdays, a little bit of Easter, some other special things, Year of the Rabbit, and of course the 3 paper sweets that will go with the mix-in packet. So the mix-ins we'll look at separately. In March we'll have a look at the paper sweet called Life's a Hoot. In February we'll be looking at the paper sweet called Storybook. In January we're going to be looking at the paper sweet called Are We There Yet? So given there hasn't been a lot of travel over the last couple of years, we've either got old travel photos to scrapbook or we're about to embark on some new travel where we will have loads of photos to be able to use this paper sweet for. But it's not just for travel. There's lots of other ways we can use these papers and the stamps and die cuts included. So we'll be having a look at those over a few videos during the month of January. So today we'll make our first start. So having a look at the sticker sheet, there's all sorts on there. Everything of course is colour coordinated as always, so it's bound to go together. The papers that come in the paper suite all have the zip strip, and on the reverse we have another sort of paper and also a list of the featured colours that you can work in with the paper suite. Okay, so just having a quick look through the papers, most of them are pretty generic and can be used with a variety of projects. Of course, if you've been to Paris or Rome and you have photos of that, well, that's just superb. But otherwise, we can just use them with different papers and as backgrounds. But we'll look further into that. Today, the project I'm going to do is a double page scrapbook spread out using mainly that paper and this one. Okay, so I'll just put the others aside and we'll get to work. So we're working on a double page layout today and we're going to use this paper as our base. When I first saw this paper I thought it was really busy and I wasn't quite sure what I'd be able to use it for. But as it happens, I woke up one morning at 3 o'clock and into my head were memories of a trip I did in 2017 with some photography friends of mine to an island off the coast of Auckland. We went and spent 3 days camping, well, camping in a cabin, in a dormitory really, with the view to photographing all the birds on the island. So we each had a camera bag, of course, and then we each had our clothes, our luggage, and we also had to take everything we needed to eat for the 3 days. And then we had to be prepared to bring all our rubbish back with us. So as you can imagine, with 4 camera bags, 4 clothes bags, 4 sleeping bags, pillows, rubbish bags, and everything else, it was quite a lot of luggage. So that's what I thought we would work with on this paper because it just reminded me of it. And yes, these photos from 2017 have not been scrapbooked yet, so it gives me a good chance to get on with it. So let's get started. I'll put these photos aside. And what I'm going to start doing first is initially take the zip strip off here to save for another use. And then it occurred to me that this paper is very good to fussy cut around some of these suitcases to give us a border on each side of the paper. So for the double page spread, what I've done is fussy cut in from the edge and just worked my way around the suitcases to get to the top to give us somewhere for our left-hand border. And the right-hand border obviously had another piece on here which I've cut off to make it a similar size to go on the right-hand page. So that's step one. So after I've done that, I'm just going to put these photos out and see what we can fit in to the pages. We don't probably need that one. I think that's fabulous. You know, they say only men can pack boots. Hey, we did a pretty good job of fitting everything into the boot of the car on that trip, that I can assure you. So we might just use those ones and keep that one out of it. So that gives us 5 photos for our layout, and we'll keep it looking something like this. Now I'd really like to, it's nice that we've got some yellow and some blue in our baggage, and the boat is yellow as well, and we've got yellow and blue in here, so I think those are the accent colours we're going to use. So bringing in this sheet of paper, I'm going to cut off the zip strip, again to use for at a later date. And I'm just going to bring this yellow paper in and audition it under here. And I think it goes quite well. Now the zip strip we can put in here. This is the beginning of the trip. So I feel that this zip strip with the arrows gives a feeling of look through to the next pages and you'll see what happens next. So I'm thinking that the edge of the fussy cutting is a little bit harsh. So I'm just going to use the honey butter, which is a complementary colour for this paper suite as listed on the back of the zip strips. And I'm just going to use the domed foam just to blend a little bit around the outside. Okay, so I've cut my extra piece here, which I'll just put in there, and I've gone round the edge of the fussy cutting with the sponge and the honey butter. So if we make that fit there. I like the arrows. There's a bit of a theme of arrows going on here. I'll tuck that under there, I think. And we might trim that photo down, but that goes well with the yellow, and that brings out the yellow in the bag, and just tuck that under there. Next thing I'm going to do is bring in a little bit of mounting for the photos, and because the cardstock comes two-tone, so we've got a lighter side and a darker side, but in this particular case I think the lighter side blends better with the suitcases that are in the paper suite, so I'm going to use the lighter side to mount these 2 photos on this side. Okay, so I've got those 2 mounted and pretty happy with the way it's coming together. So I think the next thing I need to do to get things in perspective is the title up the top, which is basically on our way to Shirimatangi Island. So I'll quickly do that and bring that in next. So to get the heading ready, I've turned the mat over and I've chosen the pennant banner alphabet because it fits quite nicely onto the 1-inch strips that I want to use, and I've used the honey butter cardstock with the toffee ink. And what I'm going to do now, obviously I got a couple wrong, but what I'm going to do now is just make these into little squares or little segments that we can place at the top of the page. changing the sponge from our honey butter to one to use with the toffee. I'm just going to go around the outlines of these, which will just help the title stand out a little bit from the backing paper, which is similarly coloured. It also disguises the fact that the words aren't exactly centred on each one. That's the beauty of scrapbooking, nothing's perfect. So these are going to go somehow like this. So having them in different pieces just makes it a little less formal, more able to be moved around the way we want it instead of having one big strip. Now there is a sticker on here that says "The Adventure Begins," which is very nicely done in the toffee, so we might put that up the top there. Okay, I think I'm going to start sticking things down now, and then we'll see where we go. I'm not sure about this photo. I might take that out, and I might end up putting a journaling box or something there, and we've got some embellishments to go on here as well. But so hang around, I'm just going to stick this down and then we'll finish them off. So we've got everything stuck and all ready for embellishment and journaling. So what I'm going to want to do now is break up this little areas here with some embellishments, and I'm going to use a combination of the sticker sheet and also the Stampin' Thin Cuts for the scrapbooking Are We There Yet? So it's great that there's a camera included here and on the sticker sheets, so we'll use those up on here because that's the whole reason of this trip. That's what we were doing, photographing things. So I'll make some embellishments and then we'll pop them on. But I think what I'm going to do is to ground them. I'm going to make a circle out of this paper just to give them somewhere to land on the paper. So I'll use my circle thin cuts and use the big one there and make a circle out of that and put them on either side. So we'll just put these to one side for now. And bring in the Cuttlebug to make some different shapes. And we've got the biggest circle thin cut on a 4-inch squarish piece of the paper that we want it on. This is the second one, so we'll just put it through the machine. And so we end up with 2 circles. Now to do so a couple of suitcases and a camera. So I found a piece of white daisy that I can fit a suitcase, 2 suitcases and a camera on. And we'll cut those out. So the stamps that go on these are very new. I haven't used them before. So I'm just going to season them. And this just takes away the film that comes with them when they're newly manufactured. So it will help the ink to stick a little easier. So we need that one. We need this one. And we need the camera. use the black one. The camera certainly has to be black. Just hold it up to make sure you've got ink over everything before you stamp it, particularly the first time you use it, because they're sometimes a little bit shy of sticking to the ink. And then try not to get my head in the way. Camera. I've put my 2 circles on, one here and one here, and I'm just fiddling with these bits that I've cut out and looking at the different things available on the sticker sheet. And I quite like this, which is again what this page is all about. Away we go. And it's got the toffee and the sapphire in it, which is what we've got over here, so I'd quite like to balance that somehow. So I'm going to put that sticker down the bottom here, encouraging whoever's looking to turn the page and check out the photos that we got on the island. So, and I think I'm going to leave this camera just on its own, but use the photo op here, because it was after all about taking photos. So I'll just stick that down, and I'll stick these down. I'm not sure I like them both being blue, so I might do another one of these but make it toffee. That's better. One last little piece that I'd really like to include are these gorgeous little foam suitcases that are the embellishments for this set. So I'm just going to put a couple, perhaps 3 down here. I'm going to do my journaling here, so we'll just use a few here that add to the theme of our massive suitcase luggage mission. Here we go. The last thing I'm going to do to this page is give us a little bit of space to journal over there using the journaling strips. I just need to cut them to size, and I've got a little bit there that I'm just going to cut off and reuse. So I'm just going to, and the white, bringing some white in over here blends a little bit and brings in the white from the other side, so it quite brings the 2 pages together. So I'll just do 3 lines there. And then I'll do, I need a long one under here. So that will give me a place just to write a little bit about the fun we had packing the boot. One extra little stamp I'm going to put in just here where the journaling is going to be. I need to just take that off for a moment. Turn that over. We'll just go. Yeah. Perfect. All ready for journaling.